Good afternoon. Here is the national news from BJI TV, Babagbagide Imo TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the national news. Concerning insecurity, Amotekun will be armed, backed by law. Akeredolu. Buhari calls for Keyamu's removal as APC presidential campaign. As to strike, YFG revised decision to reopen universities. Terrorists abduct traditional ruler in Plateau State, kill one, injure others. Bandit threatened to kill mother without being paid the money requested in 48 hours. And in sports, Super Eagles ready for Algeria test, Pesero stated. Now the news in detail. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State yesterday insisted that state security outfits in the country, backed by law, who will back by law, must have access to sophisticated weapons to combat insecurity. Akeredolu said this during the passing out parade of courses 3 and 4 of the State Amotekun Corps in Akure. His words, state security outfit backed by law, whether in Western Nigeria, Katsina, Borno, Benue, or any northern state, must have access to the same sophisticated weapons that the marauders are. Anything else is a contradiction in terms. It is evident that the current internal security framework in the country is ineffectual. The response of the substantial national by setting up their outfit is welcome, mandatory and necessary, and has become indispensable. Everyone must be given the same access to outgun the criminals. Without uniformity nationwide, the threat to the cohesion of the state will continue. The fight back against marauders committing crimes against humanity must allow subnational and regional authorities to have the tools, the most sophisticated weapons available, which the marauders already have in abundance. Moving to the next story from the presidency. Festus Keyam's removal from his position as a spokesperson for the All Progressive Congress APC Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidential campaign council has been demanded by President Muhammadu Buhari and other Asura Cabal members. Despite being a serving minister, Keyamo was accused by Buhari and other Cabal members of constantly demonizing the current administration. Buhari has asked for the removal of Festus Keyamo as a party's campaign spokesperson. The president accused him of always demarketing his regime, describing the government in which he is a minister as a failed regime. He has been described as a loose cannon who is also unduly demarketing his regime as a failed regime. The Cabal members are not happy, the source said. For instance, on Sunday, during an interview on Channels Television, Keyamo said Nigerians are hungry and can't wait to have a new leader who would satisfy their hunger. When asked to discuss the APC's campaign issues for the 2023 elections, Keyamo said Nigerians are hungry. They want to see how that hunger will be addressed, not how their Christian faith or Muslim faith will be addressed. They want to see our policies on agriculture and what Asiwaju has done before as governor of Lagos State, how he improved Lagos and how he will bring that kind of dexterity to Nigeria as a whole. That is what they want to see. How do we want to run the country? What do we want to tell Nigerians? Boss Mustafa, secretary to the government of the Federation SGF, was also said to have insisted on his removal following the latest interview on Channels Television. Moving on to ASU. Fresh facts are emerged on why the federal government quickly reversed its order to the various universities management to reopen public universities amid the ongoing strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Recall that the federal government had earlier ordered vice chancellors to reopen schools. It had asked the vice chancellors of universities to ensure that the striking members of Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, resume and commence lectures immediately. However, it later issued another directive withdrawing its earlier decision and circular. Daily Post gathered that the union and opinion leaders and other stakeholders interested in resolving the face-off between the ASU and the government mounted pressure on the government, requesting that the circular earlier sent to mandate the reopening of the universities be withdrawn. A senior official in the Ministry of Education, who didn't want his name mentioned, disclosed that the circular was withdrawn to allow for more negotiation between government and the ASU following the ongoing invention by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And to the next story from the insecurity rocking the nation concerning abduction. Terrorists have attacked January Town, Mangu local government area, Plateau State, killing one person while two others were injured. His Royal Highness Nelang Gotus, the head of the Tal chiefdom, had also been abducted by bandits in a separate attack in Penching in LGA. Then it was reported it was gathered that a disease in Mangu LGA, identified as Mapak Linus, and the two other injured victims were shot by the bandits when they opened fire on the residents after arriving in the community on Sunday night. The attack was confirmed by Yusuf Charles, a resident of January Town in Jos, on Monday. He said it was on Sunday night that bandits arrived at January Town around 7:30 p.m. and just opened fire on people in the community. From what we got to know, the bandits were targeting leaders of vigilante groups who they believe were frustrating their nefarious activities. Unfortunately, the vigilante leaders who used to visit the affected spot in the community were not present when the bandits opened fire at the spot, but their friends were there. Sadly, the bullet fired by the bandits hit 3 persons. One of them died on the spot, while 2 others sustained various degrees of injuries and were rushed to a nearby hospital, he added. The resident called on the government and security operatives to be more sight lights on the community and surrounding villages, saying, what our people want at this time is for the authorities to urgently address the constant threat to our lives by bandits. Moving on to the next story. Bandits have threatened to kill a nursing mother and her son and 2 other sisters if 50 million naira is not paid in the next 48 hours. Recall the housewife, then pregnant, was kidnapped alongside her 2 sisters in Mando area of Kaduna State. The family of the captain disclosed these to journalists on Monday in Kaduna, crying out to the government and good-spirited Nigerians to come to their aid, as they are only able to raise 6.5 million naira, which was vehemently rejected by the bandits. It was earlier reported that 3 sisters were kidnapped on July 17, 2022 in Mando, on the outskirts of Kaduna, at the family house where they were taking care of their sick mother. It was, however, gathered that their mother, who could walk unaided before the kidnap, our 3 daughters, has now been confined to a wheelchair due to trauma. Brother of the kidnapped sisters, Kabir Yusuf, who has been the one negotiating with the doctors, said he begged the doctors and told them that the family had sold everything they had to raise 6.5 million naira, but the bandit rejected it. Since the kidnap, we have been negotiating with them. And finally, on sports, Basara will miss the services of some of his key players in the game. Assistant captain William Truth Ekong returned to England last Saturday after sustaining an injury in the test against the Algeria Force home-based team. Midfielder Wilfred Ndidi spent only 2 days in camp before returning to his club over a hamstring issue. The likes of Captain Ahmed Musa, Leon Balogun, Samuel Chukwueze, and Dan Emmanuel Dennis all pulled out of the game as a result of injury. That was the national news from BGI TV. Before we go, let's quickly have some major headlines. Insecurity, Amotekun will be armed, backed by law, Akeredolu. Buhari calls for Keyamo removal as APC presidential campaign. We're also brought to you as regards ASU strike, why FG reversed decision to reopen universities. And finally, on sport, Super Eagles ready for Algeria test. The coach boasts Pasero. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Babagide Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagide Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagide Imo _22. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and function. Please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. I am Morire Rebila Lawa. Good afternoon.